Going live. Okie dokie. Welcome. What matters most in relational health? We are here today. Usually I have my beloved co-host Mary who introduces me and introduces our agenda for the day. Mary is not here today. It is Saturday. She's on a personal retreat, a silent retreat, a going within, an unplugging from technology. So she's not here today. I would love for all of us to just take a moment and think of anybody else. Think of Mary and think of anybody else who might be on silent retreat right now. There's something so juicy and so restorative. If you haven't done it, I highly recommend it. I'm going to nudge you in that direction. But for right now, we'll do our 3 breaths and we'll dedicate them. I'm going to dedicate mine to Mary. You can dedicate it to whomever you'd like. Okay, so breathing in through the nose and exhaling, letting go of everything that's already transpired today, deeply letting go, releasing, 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 inhaling in through the nose and being here. Ooh, sweetly settling in that structural support of your spine. Yes, yes, yes. Exhaling and inhaling again through the nose. Gently asking yourself, now what? Now what? Now what? And releasing that breath as well. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining in those first 3 breaths to just anchor us. It's a beautiful practice for really marking those moments in the day that matter. I'm someone who thinks every moment should matter, like 24/7, every moment should count. And that's a pretty high bar to live within myself and for others. So, okay, maybe I can let go of that and pay attention to the transitions. Pay attention to what energy am I bringing into this moment right here, right now. And I think when we can do that with presence, it can really enliven and enrich the experience. Enrichen, not a word. Not a word? David's my grandma. Yeah. she's not. Enrich. Okay, thank you. That one didn't work. Okay, so what I would love to do is just, I will introduce myself briefly for anybody who might tune into YouTube later. My name is Amy Elizabeth Gordon. I'm presently going by Amy, though my name here still says Amy E. I can rename that, just take off the E. Simplify to amplify who I am, a tender little girl who wants to save the planet, a powerful woman who believes in the power of relationships, and a sober woman of integrity who lives life on a daily basis, recommitting to sobriety and to serenity as much as possible. I have had the great good fortune of being a published author. I've written my transformational memoir, Moonshot, Aim High, Dive Deep, Live an Extraordinary Life. I've been working in the field of healing arts. That's what I like to call it. I've been a licensed mental health counselor, nationally certified addictions professional, certified Imago relationship therapist, certified parent coach. I've been doing a lot of training. I've been working hard to provide as much of a shift in the drift that I see around us. The drift being addictive tendencies, the drift being, if only everything out there changes, then I'll be okay. The drift being consuming in order to escape. And I really believe in the arc of connection. We need addictions recovery, relational healing, and contemplative practice. That's the ARC that I see as so vital for healthy relationships. So if this resonates with you, stay tuned. We're in here. Stay alert for the next 50 minutes. I promise to have us done by the top of the hour, and then we'll jump into more of a Q&A if you have any questions. Your time is valuable, and I really appreciate your being here, those of you who are here live, and those who are watching later. Take notes, take what you can use, and let go of the rest. I offer up a lot of information. And today I want to take a moment and introduce my beloved guest, Deva, who is going to help me explore this juicy topic of faith. I love to work with the 12 distinctions of an extraordinary life, the 9 practices that go along with that, the 6 sentence stems, and the 3 realms. Those are a lot of numbers, a lot of things. And Deva is a masterful analytic superhuman who can help me cut through the chaos of my own mind and put it into such a beautiful graphic. So David, that's my intro of you. Please share with our guests and with the listeners later a little bit more about yourself, your bio. I didn't ask you to prepare that, but you're up.
Okay. Well, Amy, thank you so much for having me here. And it's always such a pleasure to work with you and to explore. And I always feel like it's the wise sage and the young grasshopper here, because I have so much to learn from you. Every time I can show up here, I'm learning. So thank you for all these gives and for always showing up for other people and sharing all your wisdom and your knowledge and your insight. And yeah, it's such a pleasure to be here. And this topic of faith is, yeah, it's one I get to dive into and explore. So thank you for choosing me or for having this just wind up that it worked out this way. Yeah, and so I'm also just on that transformational leadership journey, discovering who I am at every path and every turn of the path. And I'm a mom. I have a 9-to-5 job, and I also have big dreams and things that I want to achieve, and always the little hamster wheels going with things that I want to keep creating and putting out in the world, and definitely want to change the world and make it a better place. And I want to start by just connecting and looking outward and supporting others and doing the same. So that's definitely why I'm here. Amy's that person. Thank you. You're muted.
Yes, the famous line of the last year, you're muted, unmute yourself. I was thanking you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Deva, for being here. And it's an honor to co-create this with you and to feel your support and lend support. Deva is a supporter and I am a promoting controller. And so learning how to balance that out and be supportive of my supporters is really a gift. And today I want to share with you our little agenda. We are going to talk about faith. We're a small group, so I might open it up for more interaction if we want to do that. I've tried to keep that till the end because we've had more people, but it's all good. We don't have a problem here.
Yeah, I think everyone can unmute if they feel, when they feel called to join in. I love that.
Yes, yes. Deva's voting for more interaction as well. Yay. Okay, today we're going to unpack this little toolkit, Be You. This was a birthday gift I got last weekend. I did my next rotation around the sun, and there's little jewels in here that we're going to unpack as we figure out a new perspective on faith. So I want to start by saying, with the greatest respect and acknowledgement of world wisdom traditions, of the classic idea of faith, the traditional view, having conviction in seen and unseen things, I respect that. I bow to that. And I'm asking us all today to just expand that a little bit into a more extraordinary definition. So if I open up my trusted guide here, we are still in the realm of resilience. Faith is the final distinction in the realm of resilience. The ordinary definition of faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. Confidence and assurance. Okay, got it. That works. The extraordinary definition that I came up with as I was writing all this is complete trust or confidence in everything. Utter abandonment of hope and fear. So the reason I call this extraordinary is this is not how I was raised. This is not part of the cultural soup that I grew up in. How about you, Deva? Were you raised this way with complete trust in confidence in everything?
No, definitely not. No.
And what role we're just gonna play with a little bit of interview style today. Does that work?
Yeah.
Hope and fear. How much was that a part of your upbringing?
I think probably, I think they were both there. I think what sticks out maybe is the fear part first, but I think the hope is always there too. It's just, I think hope is more subtle than fear, right? Fear, you can feel that right away. You sense it right away. Hope is something more underlying in the tissue, right? It's not like just glaring at you.
Right.
So yeah, I think you have to look a little bit, be more perspective perceptive to see the hope and to feel that.
Yeah. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because I think they're both necessary for our steadfastness, for our survival. You know, fear is that alert system in the body of, oh, something's happening, gotta move away from this danger. It's a signal. And hope is, wow, times feel really tough. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We can get through this. So I acknowledge and respect the role of hope and fear. And I invite us to think beyond them for this moment, for this hour, this variety hour where we get to play with these concepts and see how they show up in our relationships. When I stay caught in hope, I am sitting here praying for the day in the future when things are going to be better, and I'm not living in the present moment. I'm sitting here living in a place of, if only my husband were to take that license that he took the exam last July and finished and actually open his private practice, if only he did that, then we'd have more money, then I'd have more peace of mind. That's hope in its false security sense for me personally. I'm just sharing my personal experience. Hope keeps me trapped in a future of better days. Doesn't work for me anymore. Hope keeps me living for the future when really all we have is the present moment. Whereas fear keeps me trapped in the past. You know, fear that, oh gosh, you know, I really went nutso in my 20s. I'm going to go nutso again. No, not necessarily so. I'm sober now. I have better lifestyle choices. I've done a lot of trauma healing. Don't have to go back to that. But there's a fear there that when I stay caught in it, it sucks the wind out of me, sucks my ability to take a deep breath and be okay in the moment. Is any of this landing with anybody here? Anybody have any questions or comments so far? I'm going to drink some water.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I understand fear right away when you describe it that way, and hope I hadn't thought about it. And like, in a way, it is like with a negative connotation. You always see it like bracelets and necklaces and t-shirts and hope, and, you know, very positive, uplifting. But I can see it too if you're just, you know, anything, too much of anything is not good, right? You want the middle way, you want the balance. So too much of that hoping all the time, like, how does that serve you? So
Right.
yeah, to think of it that way. Thank you.
You're welcome. It is a new way of looking at it, and it's one that I was introduced to in my studies at Naropa University, which is a Buddhist-inspired school of thought. And so really learning about faith through the lens of Buddhism, learning about hope and fear through the lens of Buddhism has been eye-opening to me in terms of giving me greater accountability and responsibility of what do I get to do? And that's what we're going to unpack in that toolkit. But first, I really wanted to start with the definition of faith. I also want to highlight that the more I play with these distinctions. So for those of you, I know Jerry listened to one of these shows earlier, but she hasn't been on here before, and I don't think she's familiar with my language around this. I believe that the realm of resilience is where we get to come back to. It's that place where we're like, life's getting lifey, as my beloved Mary says, things are getting hard. We got to have some resilience. We got to be able to, regroup, restore, rejuvenate. And we do that in these first four distinctions: trust, focus, repair, faith. And the more I play with these ideas, and they came to me, and when I go to the track and I do my laps, and I was there this morning going around like, okay, trust myself to no longer abandon myself. That's the first distinction. What does that allow me to do? Dun, dun, dun. We're going to open up the little toolkit here. This is kind of fun. All right. First tool we need for an extraordinary life: a pair of scissors. Does anybody remember why? What does this have to do with trust? This is a quiz. Come on. Do you remember? Do you remember what we're doing? Dun, 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 dun,
Cut the cord.
We could say that. Yes, we cut the cords to those things that don't serve us, and we cut ourselves some slack.
Okay.
This is what we get to do. This is the tool that I want you to remember. What the heck does this have to do with faith? It has to do with faith a lot. Believe it or not, stay with me. I'm going to weave these things together in a way that I hope is a cohesive unit. When we cut ourselves some slack, we are letting go of that high bar of living, which I started out the show by saying, you know, like, I want everything to be up here. I want to have ultimate physical health, ultimate sexual pleasure, ultimate money in the bank, ultimate relations with my parents. I want to be the best mom I can be. I want to be influencing as many people as possible. I want to be living a life of extraordinary time outside. Like, I want a lot of things. And when I fall short of them, I set myself up for disappointing myself. I can't live up to it. And then I start to not have faith in my life. Life starts to feel really shaky. And I can give you an example if that would be helpful. Would that be helpful?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So with, for example, one simple guide that I give myself around my diet with what I eat is the kitchen closes at 6 o'clock. Kitchen closes. Then my body has at least 12 hours to digest because I'm usually an early riser. Great ideal. Does it work in our family of 6? No. Sometimes there are moments we're sitting down for dinner at 6:30. As the season shifts and it stays lighter later, we don't always get to the table at the same time. As different activities are going on, whatever it is, that time I get to cut myself some slack and cut others some slack of, okay, there's a window here, 6 to 7, then the kitchen closes, then I feel better. My point in sharing this is I have that standard. Then I have the standard of I won't work late at night on my computer because it starts messing with my brain. And then I will get up and do exercise in the morning. But if I abandon myself in one of those areas, last, Tuesday, I'm eating cookies and grabbing bananas and everything at night, hopping on my computer again. And then the next morning, I don't want to do the work. I have abandoned myself, not just once, but it has that domino effect where then I can't trust myself because I have abandoned myself. And then it starts spilling out. And then I feel worse about myself. And then what happens? I get super critical of my husband, my kids, society in general, and I start distrusting everything out there. And then I don't have faith in what's going on. Is that making sense?
Yeah. Totally. I have my own pattern of that. Yeah.
So cutting myself some slack. Okay, we didn't eat by 6. We're going to eat by 7. It doesn't mean that I have to go back in the kitchen when my son has a full another meal at 9 o'clock at night. I don't know how he does it, but he's 17. So I don't have to do that. I want to just wrap this out because I think they're all related. Trusting myself to no longer abandon myself means allowing some wiggle room in there, not having such a rigid standard that when I don't get it done by 6, it's 7, okay, then I can still go about and keep my commitment to myself in those other areas. The next distinction is focus. Here's our little tool in the kit. Dun, dun, dun. The magnifying glass. Yes? Yeah. Focus in on my part in things. It's not, what's my son eating at 9 o'clock at night? No, what am I doing right now? It's not, has my husband gone for a walk this week? It's, no, have I logged the miles for this RBG thing that I'm doing? And, it's focusing in on what I can do. And who knows what happens when you put a magnifying glass on something for a long time and the sun is right behind it? What happens? David?
Burns up, gets hot.
Yeah. So I don't want to put myself under this, under the magnifying glass too much. I also don't want to put other people. It's about finding that balance of, okay, focusing in, what can I do as it relates to these high standards that I have for my life. And then the final toolkit. Aloha, Jack. Good to see you. It's been months, my dear. Oh, he's gone. Okay. And then the final tool is Whisk broom. This is for the third distinction, which is repair. This is staying on my lane, on my side of the street, and like, what do I need to clean up? Okay, I'm going to pay attention here. And this is also about repair with those standards that we set. When we fall short of them, being willing to restart the day at any time. This is really key because it interrupts that domino effect of, okay, I'm eating late, then I'm going to hop back on my computer, then I'm not going to exercise the next day. We don't have to let it all fall down. When we have the awareness of being present in the moment, it's like, oh yeah, I did that. I can restart right now. I don't have to wait till next week, next month, my next birthday, January 1st. I get to restart right now and repair whatever's going on so that I can trust myself to no longer abandon myself, focus in on my own hula hoop, my own part in things, repair it, drop the stones of resentment from my heart, clean up my side of the street. And when I have trust and I have faith and I've done the repair work, I feel a sense of faith in my life. I trust what's going on. I don't have to recreate it every day. I don't have to try to make order out of the chaos of life. Deva, are you willing to play with me here and share with me what's popping out to you, if anything?
Yeah, well, first I want to say you're touching your nose, and so for everyone who doesn't know, that's your reset button.
Right. Thank you.
So, in case you keep saying that's
my kids invented that.
Yeah, they reset. You know, if they're having a breakdown or something, they can all call to reset the family at any time. Which now I've started implementing in my own family. But yeah, if you have a partner, I invite you to do the same thing, set that up. It's, you know, and it also just makes you laugh or smile to, like, you know, or you can go reset someone else if you need to. I wish we could use it at work and like at the grocery store. And, you know, I wish I could use it all the time. In the parking lot, I don't know.
Not during a pandemic. Don't go touching somebody's nose. You might get put in jail.
Asking them to reset. Yeah, no. Yeah, I like just how you broke down the trust, the focus, the repair, and the faith. And I completely see that. I think, yeah, it's just, as you're going through all these steps, it's just always so important to also how you're bringing up to be like tender and gentle with yourself. And I want to have my life look a certain way, and I want to set these goals and these things I want to create daily, hourly, whatever, in the morning, in the evening. And I'm human. Like, I don't know anyone who's following it every day, day in and day out, 365 days a year. Like, it's just impossible. And just to trust that it'll be okay when it does fall apart, or you slip up, or you break something, it just, yeah, it doesn't have to be hard or complicated or really any self beat up, with it. So, and it's the same, when you see other people in their own breakdown too, just like everyone's doing the best they can, I think. And it's just to hold people to that light, like, everyone's trying. This is how it looks for them. It looks different than how it looks for you. And
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else have any comments or questions thus far? Yeah, go for it.
Thank you, Ami, and thank you for sharing, Deva. What came to me was like what you were saying, Ami, about just having commitments and, let's say, having organized day. I find it myself like really good, and it's like having the, how do I say, I don't know, just some habits, patterns which keeps us in the structure. And the same time, of course, like, we are our word, but it has to work. And sometimes, as you said, like a late family dinner or whatever comes up, and that's okay, just to not make ourselves so wrong. Right. And then feel guilty, and then just next day try harder. And I think it's like like a ball which is growing, and then you just like confused, like, so what's the point? But keep the basic structure. I think it's so important, and be present. And yeah, I think, and regarding the faith and fear, may I share what I got from it?
Yes, thank please you.
Yeah.
So, thank you. So what I got was like, I find it that for most life, I was like, I had so much fear, and then I learned the faith. I realized what faith is because of the fear. So the faith helps me balance, let's say, to have a faith in life, have a faith in myself. And then, because of be conscious about faith, I realized what the fear in reality is. That it's not what it was, because I create so much story about it, but it's a fear. Okay, well, so yeah, I don't know, it's just my journey. So it's so helpful what you are saying. It just especially with these tools.
Mhm.
And yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you
I
for
hope.
sharing. If you're anything like me, which I think you are, it helps us to get the information when we talk about it, when we kind of integrate it and we say, yeah, this is what I heard and this is how I do it. And I love 2 points that you brought up, and they're very important in this topic of faith. And one is striving harder the next day when we've kind of messed up the previous day. And the other being that warm wash, familiar wave of guilt that can come over us. And guilt is okay, kind of like hope and fear in micro doses. Yeah, guilt is like, oh, I did something wrong, get to pivot and go and do something different. Guilt that hangs around for a long time and starts taking up a lot of mental real estate becomes shame. And in my opinion, shame is toxic. Shame is not that I made a mistake, it is I am a mistake. It is not, oh, this experiment failed, it's I failed, I'm a failure. And so we want to prevent the toxic shame buildup by when the guilt comes up, it's informing us, it's knocking from the inside, like, honey, that didn't really work for you, and doing it, as Deva said so beautifully, with that tenderness, with that self-forgiveness, with that, I'm doing my level best here. Because when we operate from that place, we certainly can see that more readily in others. Everybody's doing their level best, believe it or not. and when we can get to that place, then we can have faith in the good of mankind, faith in that, as I define trust, the inherent worth and dignity in each and every one of us, starting with ourselves. Because when we spend all that time wishing so-and-so were different, and if only this, and if we're like putting our power outside of ourselves. And as Jack says, who joined us, welcome, Jack, aloha, my dear. It's just love. It's all about love. Yay, hi, you cut your camera on. You want to say hi? You want to, oh, he's back off. Anything about love for self, love for other, love for spirit. And it would be a half-ass talk on faith if we don't talk about spirit, if we don't talk about God, if we don't talk about the creative energy, whatever you imagine is that power greater than yourself that is helping you get through the day. That's a huge part of my faith. But I think it shows up in my interactions with others. It showed up in my clearing conversation with my husband yesterday, which was incredibly difficult. And I had moments of tightness and that, striving harder, like Lukash said, like, I'm going to work harder because it's been really tense between us lately and I got to make it better. And everybody do this. Just tighten up, and try to take a deep breath. Try to bring spirit into every cell of your being. How's it going for you? I can't get it to work. So Jerry, if you're driving, keep at least one hand on the wheel there, darling. But when we tighten up, we cannot receive more goodness. We cannot receive that new energy of new oxygen coming in. We cannot receive the gift of God that's around us. It is only when we unfurl, Deva's word of the year, unfurl, release the pinch, release the grip, allow. Now I can take a deep breath. I invite all of us, take a deep breath. Beautiful. Oh my God, what a gift. I love seeing the chest rise on the inhale. Yeah. So now let's do another breath and bring it into the base of the pelvic bowl, like fill your belly first. So inhaling. Beautiful. Ride that wave and let it go. The power of the breath to release what's no longer needed. Inhaling again. The new energy that comes in, the ability to receive God in this moment and let it go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in love, breathing out love. I would like, while we're already breathing together again, to offer up another practice here. It doesn't fit in my little bag here, but it fits in my memory at night when I can't sleep. And I'm like, God, please let me sleep. And I start worrying about not being able to sleep and losing sleep. And no, turn it over to God. This is the hand gesture for faith. It's just release the grip, put my hands out. And I've specifically positioned my camera today so that you can see. It might be backwards though. Can you see the Serenity Prayer or the words backwards?
It's just
Backwards.
too tiny to see. Yeah.
Too tiny. Okay. Some of you know this. This is a prayer that I have learned. It's one I repeat regularly in my 12-step meetings. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And Dava, if you notice what my hand's doing, you probably know what breath practice we're about to do. Which one is it? The box breath. One of our all-time favorites, and this beautiful booklet that Dava helped me with, we're working on one for breath practices, so stay tuned. We're working on it. The box breath is a brilliant practice. Helps me in the middle of the night, helps people training in the military get their mental focus. It helps relieve that grip of anxiety, guilt, oh no, what's happening in my life, fearful moments. And it just allows a more balanced pulsation of energy and relaxation. Because I don't know about you, my goal is to get to that place of calm abiding, where I have this reservoir of energy available to me. Look at where my energy comes from. It comes from the Serenity Prayer. It's like I can do what I need to do now. And that reservoir of calm. It's nighttime. It's time to sleep. Go sleepies, Amy. No need worry. No need hold head. And I've started to talk to myself that way. And I can't even believe that I'm live recorded this way. I didn't used to talk to myself that way, guys. It was a that was not a life of faith. Joy is the emotion of faith. Commitment is the action of faith. I have more joy in my life now than I've ever had. Joy is the emotion of faith. And so I invite us to practice the box breath. We can utilize the Serenity Prayer, or I wanted to offer up a new one. Dava, can you type while I'm doing this?
I am. I'm just doing the line you just said.
Yay! Yay! Yeah, that's a good one. This other one is, I talked to you about my new understanding of faith came as I was studying more in depth the beautiful Buddhist psychology. And so in 1997, we started this journey. It's where I met my husband. And I learned something called the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa. We don't need to do all that, but I just want to give credit where credit is due. I did not write the Serenity Prayer, and I did not write the 4 Dharmas of Gampopa, but it beautifully ties into that square breath. So I wanted to offer both of these practices to you today. Take what you can use, leave the rest. This is, do you all have, so my understanding of Dharma is the teachings of a spiritual way of living, wholehearted living, pure living. The Dharma is often referred to as the teachings of the Buddha, enlightenment. These are all my definitions. The 4 lines: grant your blessings that my mind may be one with the Dharma. Grant your blessings that Dharma may progress along the path. Grant your blessings that the path may clarify confusion. I'll get it in there too, David, don't worry. And grant your blessings so that confusion may dawn as wisdom. And I have it memorized. I just wrote it down because I knew I was going to be multitasking. I love it because the last word begins the next sentence. There's the idea of the teachings are all around. I believe this in AA, that God is everything or God is nothing, that God either is or he isn't. The same with Buddhism. The Dharma is or it isn't. Like the fish is either surrounded by water or he's a fish out of water and he isn't. Asking a fish what God is like asking him what water is. It's like, it's just here. I don't know. I don't know anything different than this. I love the smiles. Thank you, Jack and Tanya. So that idea of being surrounded by it, like we can't mess this up. We're in this web, this interconnected web of all existence of being held, is a beautiful thing. It is a very much part of my faith practice. And so when we I'm kind of on a roll. I'm going to type that in. Deva, I'd love to hear how you experience faith in your life. Are you willing to go there while I'm typing this in? That's
Yeah.
a biggie question.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm still exploring faith. I think just the concept of faith. Well, I think big F faith, or I don't know if it's big F or little f, but you know, the traditional, again, the religions, and where we start with faith, what we learn in the school about faith is, you know, related to religion. So I grew up very like pagan, I think, no really religion or organized religion. I had friends that were Mormons and Catholics, and I'd go visit them in their churches. So it's familiar with that format of faith and praying and doing grace at the dinner table and things like that. But I think I really saw a deeper look at faith and what it can look like when I met my husband and we got married, because he's Muslim. And for him, yeah, he talks about God and, you know, Allah all the time. And he brought it into the home, and it was something I did not grow up with. And the way he talks about it, yeah, made me think about it in whole new ways, of just, and then I don't know, it's just there's a lot to go into, but like just I think it's about like trusting and going into the heart. I think I've always been like a very head person, trusting myself. It's in the books. I can find if it's not in the books, it doesn't exist. I think that's really where it goes. It's about stepping from the head to the heart. And again, obviously you need a balance. You don't want to be all one or one or the other. They're there for a reason. So I think that's what I learned with my husband, and just going through this leadership program a few years ago, and just like understanding that I can't control everything, and why would I? Like all that stress that goes with like trying to control everything. And that is just the faith. It's just like there are some things I can control and there's some things I can't control. And that is the faith. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to give it a name. I started kind of saying, you know, I'm trusting the universe, or some people say, you know, Gaia or the goddess, or Allah, or, you know, God, or whatever you want to call it. But I think it's just really about understanding that I don't have control over so much, and there's so much I don't know about. And just to name that, that's the faith. That's what I get to trust in, and it'll be okay. And whatever happens, it's something is there. It's like happening for a reason, or it's something I'll be learning from or growing from, or like it's all good somehow. So I don't know if that.
Beautiful. My experience of you, Deva, is open-minded. My experience of you is curious. My experience of you is willing. My experience of you is desirous of dropping from the analytical mind into the tender, loving heart, and recognizing there's a place for both, you know, that we need both those power centers. Am I getting you?
Yeah. It's just like listening to this part too, right? I'm not always up here. So, I mean, for me, that's kind of where I'm still like, I'm completely growing and like so green. I knew it at faith for sure. But I like what Lukash was saying too about like with the fear, like how do we get through the fear? We have the faith, like it's really complementary. And just to think like I probably had faith all this time, I didn't know what it was, or you know, like now I'm starting to name it and to like have shape around it or words to explain it, you know. So at this stage of my life.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anyone else like to talk about faith, how you experience faith, how you experience faith in relationships, what you might have faith in? The floor is open. I'd love to hear from others. Please unmute yourself if you'd like to share.
Finding all in transforming humor. I find something to laugh about as often as I can, wherever I am. And I often leave people laughing. And remember, we have the five senses, but the most important sense perhaps is the sixth sense, a sense of humor. One other thing I just wanted to add, when you do the breathing based on the three phase, belly, rib, lungs, if you do like breathing in through the left nostril, belly, chest, rib, chest, and then breathe out through the right nostril. again, exhaling chest, rib, belly. If you do that and you alternate between the left and right, you're actually facilitating more things than you realize. In our brains, we have multi-brain stuff, left and right hemisphere. But that's a simple thing. You don't have to be holding your nose. You don't have to be looking north with your foot up in the air. Just do it gently and joyously. And again, the sense of humor is really so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough from Jack. I was in the middle of something else, another long stuff, so I couldn't be at the beginning. But love and blessings always.
Love and blessings, Jack. I'm so glad to see you. Admittedly, I peeked on my list the other day to see if you opened my email. I was glad that you did, because I can get the skinny on people that way. So I'm delighted to see you.
Well, I got it that it was canceled. There was actually in the email, the first thing was canceled and the second thing wasn't. So at first I thought it was canceled, and then I clicked on the second, which connected you right to your webinar, to Zoom. So
Okay.
that delayed me, but I'm also in the middle of about 20,000 other things. So.
What are you, human or something?
What's that?
Are you human or something? Being involved in 20,000 other things.
I used to be human. I gave it up a long time ago. Somebody once focused on the solution, not the problem. So I came up with the name. I'm a solutionist. So I'm not the one that's the doer. It's happening through me. I'm just showing up. And that's why when we breathe in God and breathe out love, wow. And we don't take ourselves seriously. It's sort of like a teeter-totter, And the more we stay in that second point of balance, beyond I'm this, I'm that, I'm not this, I'm not that, all that kind of talk, it just takes us back and forth in a teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter.
Yeah, so it's just, this is a precious time. This is such a precious time to be in gratitude and joy. And what you're doing and have done and will do, and everybody here is not by chance. It's how blessed we are and how grateful we are. And again, the less we think we're the doer, we're just doers. It's God working through us. Yeah, so it's breathe in God, breathe out love, and however, wherever, whatever we're doing. Enough from this old guy, but anyway, blessings to everybody always.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah.
Blessings to you too. Here's a visual of what he was saying. If you can imagine breathing in at the bottom of your lungs first, and then going up to the ribs and then the top of the lungs. And then when we exhale, it's coming out the other way. I'm going to drink it though.
Oh, Jack, you're muted.
Yeah, that's on purpose. I talk too much.
He says when he's
God showing up again is muting me.
he's awake, he's quiet. When he's dreaming, he's talking. Is that
yeah, if I'm talking, it's because I'm asleep. When I'm awake, I'm in silence.
So funny. Thank you for helping me stay light and tender in my heart. Your sense of humor is always welcome. Jack was a big part of my full moon and new moon celebrations last year. And so it's good to reconnect with you, my dear. And I'm curious, does anyone else have any comments about faith? No?
Well, I just like that Jack was just mentioning humor in it. And I think like when we think about faith, it's like such a heavy word, and all these trust, focus, repair, these things can be really, really heavy, and not to make them obviously heavy, right? You can make it heavy if you want, sometimes maybe it needs to be heavy, but it doesn't always need to be. It can be light and joyful and funny, as well as you explore. Like I definitely feel awkward and funny when I talk about faith or when I'm exploring these things that are uncomfortable, right? So,
yeah, I hear you, Lukasz.
Yeah, I think I have this like similar point of view that it's like connected to heart. So when I think faith, before I would be in my head and I would try to analyze and find the answer. Like, okay, what does it mean? Religion, not religion? Who am I? Why should I believe or not? And then more I was thinking, then again, I start to come back to myself, and then I was like, okay, it's not there, it's actually here. And when you mentioned this, Diva, about the Deva, yeah, sorry, I don't
Deva,
know.
yeah.
Deva.
David,
So yeah, about the heart, and I was like, yeah, that's where, I mean, I feel like that's where I sense the faith is. It's like in ourself, in the heart energy, and I don't know if you call it maybe soul also, but not much in the head, especially this word, the faith, like, you know, because it's like more trusting ourselves, I would say.
Yep.
Like fully, then you know, then we can actually, I don't know, even share the faith, you know,
yes,
because before, if we don't trust, I mean, if we don't have a faith in ourselves, we would put the faith to anything, you know, like to any religion, to money, whatever. Like, so yeah, that's what comes to me.
That's great.
So, yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
I think you got it. I think you got the essence of what we're offering here today. And David, thank you so much for bringing up the heart. It is really, that's where I feel it. That's where I feel joy. And if joy is the emotion of faith, that's where it is. So I wanted to take a few moments in our variety hour today to talk about the other things that we might have faith in. And I used to only have faith in things that I couldn't control, because the things that I was trying to control, that I wanted to have faith in, I would have a whole bunch of expectations. And expectations are premeditated resentments. I would have expectations that if I water this plant and get it in the sun for this many minutes, it will bloom by this, 69 days, according to the growth chart. Doesn't always happen that way. There are other factors at work here beyond my control. So then, at the beginning of my spiritual journey, which for me really, really clearly started when I got sober 26 plus years ago. Like before that, I had so many obscurations of the mind, so much fear just gripping me, and so much desire to flee the present moment. My soul was robbed of the beauty of the present moment every time I took that Bacardi rum. I realized, like, okay, clear that up as I journey into this realm of spirituality. It's a daily practice, that spiritual hygiene, flossing, spiritual flossing. And it was, what do I have faith in? I have faith in things that I can't control, because I can start to trust them. The number one thing that shows up on my gratitude list, on my faith list, on my writings is the sunrise. The sunrise happens every day. It doesn't require anything on my part. Sometimes it's behind a veil of clouds. Like in Georgia today, we have rainy weather. In Poland, we have the Irish weather of the, it's chilly in France. Jack, how's the weather there today, where you are?
It's extraordinary.
New York.
I haven't been out quite a bit, but I mean.
Oh, the sound just went down.
Yeah, sound went out.
I can't hear you, dear. I don't know why you're not muted, but it's okay. It's okay. No, I think something happened to your volume. I heard that it's nice there. I was just trying.
This better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I'm holding an iPad.
Yeah.
I have the iPad on my chest. I was listening to another workshop that's going on for 3 hours on another iPad on my lap as I lie down. It's a big joke. It's
a cosmic joke.
It's just a big cosmic joke, and the more we can find something to laugh about, God. Remember, I love what my brother just said about really. It's time to be in the heart and not the mind. It's time to be in the heart and not the mind. The mind is the do's and don'ts and this and that, but the heart is purifying and blessing and honoring. So this is a time for less mind and more heart. And that's what you were all saying. I'm talking too much. And yeah, the iPad is being held here. Yes,
Okay.
if you saw what it looked like here, it would be so funny. Anyway, enough for
all right. Thank you, Jack. Faith in the sunrise, faith in the change of weather, faith in the impermanence of the clouds in the sky, faith in the joy in a bird song, faith in the love of a mother, faith in the smell of coffee or bacon or fresh baked bread, faith in something that brings us back to our senses, our sense of humor, our sense of joy, our sense of intuition of, oh, I know when I get out of bed and I do the Herculean effort to get to the track at sunrise, I'm going to feel better afterward. I have faith in that. And as I have faith in these external things, and they're usually things that happen on a daily basis, faith in the stars, faith in the moon phases, I'm learning more and more about these beautiful, nuanced energies of the moon and what it means here in Hawaii to pay attention. We're at new moon time. It's a beautiful time to set new intentions, to have that prayer, that reflection, that meditation. Bring it into your heart. And from that place, let your reservoir fill up. Take the committed action of, how do I bring more faith in? I do the breathe. Somebody gave me this stone at Christmas. Breathe, breathe. It's right here next to my little bodhisattva. You know, I have my little icons of reminders of spiritual well-being, but these are just symbols. The reality of a spiritual life is what I'm doing. What I'm doing. When I show up for sunrise, when I show up for breath practice, when I show up for forgiveness, I'm starting to have so much faith in the power of forgiveness. Forgiving, love emanates when I am forgiving of self and others. It is powerful beyond measure. I cannot imagine anything more transformative in my life than when I cut some slack toward myself and others by forgiving. Oh, we didn't reach that high bar. We didn't do what I thought we should do. Oh, it didn't go as I thought it would go. Oh, I really messed that one up. Soft tone of voice, new way of being. The more I practice it, the more I'm wiring in more joy, more gentleness, more tenderness in my heart and in my mind. I have talked quite a bit. I think we have a few minutes left. Any other offerings before we... Holy smokes, I just remembered I forgot to build our altar of awareness on the day of faith. Oops, no candle. No, oops, that's hilarious. We don't even need altars for faith. That's what it's about. Oh, David's got a candle. Yay. We don't need the entrapping, the trappings. I used to think I had to go on solitary retreat in order to find solitude and spaciousness and silence in my mind. I don't have to do that. Those micro moments of going in the bathroom, closing the door, going in the bathroom, doing some breath practice, better yet, going outside, taking my shoes off, grounding, being with the trees, those things work. So I'd love for you all to join me next Friday for the masterclass. I'm going to put some links in. I'm really questioning whether to keep doing that. We have a very small group. I want to keep doing it, but I want to start getting some energetic exchange with everybody. Whoops. All right, let me pop these links in. Anybody have any closing words while I'm finding my links here?
Can you share more about the masterclass on Fridays?
Being with the trees, those things work. So, oh gosh, it's doing that weird thing again. Yes, I can, where it's playing. Do you remember it did that last month? It started to play the YouTube thing. Oh, that was weird. Okay, here's the links. I can tell you more about the masterclass. The masterclass is where we do a deep dive into the distinctions. So I'm getting more and more crystallization around these distinctions, more of a distillation. And the idea is to really start using the writing prompts, the 6 writing prompts, so that each person gets familiar with the distinction and how it works in their life. In the masterclass, we go over the writing prompts, we do a deeper dive. I give a lot of personal, individualized attention in there. Tanya can attest to that, yes. And we welcome more people, right? It would be great to have more people in there. So if the timing doesn't work right, give me feedback. I can shift. I have flexibility. I want to serve. I want to go deep. So here's some, I hope this works. Did these links show up? Okay, all of you are already on my list, so you can ignore the first link there. I think you're already on my list. Oh, there they are. The PayPal love offering, that's for anyone today who felt like they got something out of this and you want to design your own amount, and you can offer up a PayPal love offering there. The breathwork link, I really wanted to draw attention to that. That's where Dave and I go live every Wednesday. We've been doing it for 25 episodes. It's a commitment of great. What do you want to say about that, Dava? Give a little commercial on our breathwork.
For me, like what I've just learned is that like the breathing is like a reflection of my life. Like I'm constantly learning something through the breath work, just about myself, or like how I operate. Like just the way you do one thing is how you do everything. So am I like having like beating myself up about the breath work of the day? I'm not doing it right. Well, I'm probably doing that the whole day, like with everything I'm doing, you know, like, oh, snap out of it. It's just it's the pause, breathe, reset. So I'm resetting every time I do that breath. We're like, oh, you know, so I'm just, it's not just breathing. It's so much more. It's really just, it's bigger for sure.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and it's there. It's usually 10 minutes. Sometimes we go 15, but it's brief, it's digestible, it's recorded, so it's in there. If you go to my Instagram feed, you can see our old ones. Dave is usually outside, inspires me to get outside, and we just pause. It's at noon Pacific also. The masterclass is at noon Pacific. Again, I'm willing to shift that time if that is an obstacle for anyone. I want to find ways to serve. Stay tuned. I'm looking at book clubs and other offerings, but I really welcome your feedback. You know, I have that survey that's out circulating around. If you haven't done that yet, I know a couple of you already have. Please give me your feedback, because that's what makes this magic, is our energetic exchange. So that's that final link there. If you want to join, that is the $60 a month masterclass link. It goes out monthly. Dava, if you said something, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, just I would, if you can share your little booklet, your moonshot booklet, your playbook too with everyone, that'd be great too.
Yes. Right now?
And no, if you don't have it, just after, make sure you see all the people on here.
You see how organized I am.
Yeah. But that booklet really helped me too with the at the end of the booklet, there's like a tracker of like your habits, and I've employed that in my life for like, it's been like a solid year that I've been using it. I mean, I altered it and added some more things for my own personal life that I want to create, but I invite you all to look at the habit tracker. Someone's down here now. The habit tracker at the back of that booklet.
All right, try that. Okay, yeah, you have to opt in again, but y'all are already on my list, but that link should work. If you just opt in, and then that final link that I put there, it should give you the download for the playbook. If for some reason it doesn't, you all know my email, help@AmyElizabethGordon. Happy to give that as a free gift for today. And my call to action is join the masterclass. Let's go deeper together. It's once a month, third Friday of the month, noon Pacific time. We have our monthly variety hours, second Saturday of the month. And I'm here to serve. I'm here to help us all grow in this beautiful team sport called enlightenment, right? So have faith in yourself, trust yourself to not abandon yourself, focus in on what's your part in things, clear up the nightmare as you're creating it so that you can live a more extraordinary life of faith and enjoy the joy and feel the commitment to yourself. It is such an amazing, amazing journey. I feel personal and professional testimonial going on here. So I love you all. Dava, thanks for being my special guest today. I'm going to stop the recording now. Aloha, be well. And I'm still here for 15 minutes or so if anybody wants to chat. So let me stop cloud recording and